Hello and welcome to the Heresy Lodge. I'm your host, Dylan Cooper, the constant host over here.
Gavin Franklin.
And guys, this week we are here to review Corax by Gav Thorpe. We talked about this last week. It is an anthology, but plot twist, it doesn't read like an anthology.
Yeah, it's really just a book. It's like a saga.
Yeah, it's one of those things where these were definitely like released separately, and then they were like, you know what would make a lot of sense? They put this in one book and like released it and be like, good fucking idea.
Like the Twilight Saga.
This is exactly like the Twilight Saga. The
It's
ending
about
is pretty similar.
It actually is very similar. It's about at the emotional level of the Twilight Saga. I feel.
I don't know. I think it was more attached to this one. At least I didn't feel like somebody was a pedophile.
That's true. I just feel like Corax is a bit of a whiny bitch. Anyway, those are my thoughts.
And that's the review. Happy to have you all here. And now to our special. So, as always, guys, got to do the housekeeping things. First things first, hit us up on the Discord. You can find that pinned to our Twitter at Heresy Lodge. You can also email us at theheresylodge@gmail.com. Check us out on YouTube. We release all of our videos there as well, or episodes there as well.
And
you can see our beautiful, shining faces and our shitty lighting, shitty backgrounds. But I love it.
I've got Christmas lights up already.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
It wasn't my choice, but it's not that bad. I don't mind it.
Yeah, I mean, you normally leave your tree up until it's Christmas again.
I think it's a move, really. You decorate it for 4th of July.
I'm being lazy as fuck.
You decorate it for whatever you want. It just makes it festive. Once you have all the decorations up and you remove them, you're like, oh my gosh, my apartment is so empty / house that you have that I don't.
Because Alex just has the next season's worth of decorations to come up.
Mm-hmm.
All 4 seasons are very loved in this household.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's painful. But those are all the things. Also, we have some kick-ass merch. I'm currently wearing my sweatshirt, both drinking out of our pint glasses.
Got the points.
Every morning I have coffee out of my mug. Check things out. We have t-shirts, short sleeve, long sleeve, man, women, hoodies.
We don't sell men and women, but there are men and women shirts that you can buy.
Depends on how much you're willing to spend. There's a separate app for that one. You got to reach out to us on the Discord. Pin to the Twitter.
Find us on
Lodge.
OnlyFans, Heresy Lodge.
It gets raunchy.
What are you drinking today, sir?
Good, sir. A couple weeks ago, I had the Big Wave. This week, I am drinking Kona Light. It was just in my box.
What are your thoughts?
It's fine. It tastes like a light beer. It
Okay.
doesn't taste like Big Wave or whatever. It just tastes like a fucking slightly better Bud Light.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I went bowling today, and I bowled the worst game I've ever bowled since I was probably 12 years old. So definitely looking forward to this podcast filming. I'm drinking Atomic Amber. This thing is like legitimately, it is the most like, what did I call it? The most brewery, like upstart brewery can of beer you could possibly imagine. It's from Apocalypse Brew Works. I don't know where that's from, what that is. It doesn't even say. It's from Kentucky.
Well, shoot.
And Louisville. Okay. You got the picture of the atom and then they put a big light source in the middle of it. So I'm assuming this is like, you know what it's like. They edited it like real quick, got it on a beer can. It's
I'm
an
pretty
amber.
sure that image was copy and posted from Google Images. They said, atomic. They're like, oh, that works.
Like an atom.
Yes.
Like a bomb. Let's put a light in there too, so it's both of them. There we go. It's okay. It's very upstart brewery level beer, in my opinion. You can get gold with those, but this is like, it's all right.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Like some of those are, like I like would consider nailers to be like a lot that way because, like with those beers, I like it's like whatever that flavor is exactly what the beer like tastes like. Like, oh, it's a blueberry beer. Well, it tastes like watered beer with blueberries in it.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. So we have Corax to talk about, and also we could talk a little bit about some of the World Leaders leaks that's been talking, or been going through the Discord. And then, who was it? I cannot remember. Is it Big Teeth Snagga?
It's like Big Death Tech Snagga.
Big Mac Tef Snagga paid us $6,000 for a shout out.
Here it is, bud. I'll be expecting payment.
Did you hear that? $6,000.
We have tips enabled on Twitter. That's where you can leave it. It is connected to my Cash App.
Straight to the Cash App. Straight to the OnlyFans. That's where we make most of our money, really.
Yes.
So Corax. Let me tell you something about this book. I liked this book.
I did too. I didn't like it at first. The first short story, I was kind of annoyed by Agapito.
Yeah.
But after that, I was like, wow, this is really good.
Yeah. So the book kind of went like this for me. Like, started down here and then went this crazy climb, like all the way. And then the last page, I'm not even talking the last chapter or the last few pages, like literally maybe even the last paragraph, just like really weird ending, in my opinion.
I liked it because this has been the only book where I've legitimately felt sorry for a Space Marine.
Yes, that's true. Except I think the story, I feel like I kind of got led on. I got led on because it seemed like it was going to be this crazy tragedy. I thought I was going to cry. And then Gav Thorpe was like, nah, we have to like have the whole Siege of Terra, bro. Like we have to sell Marines. We have to sell models. We can't do anything crazy. Like the ending was like, so this is what it means to be a Raven Guard. This is what it means to be a Space Marine in the time of the Horus Heresy. This is how terrible shit is. And then just kidding. That's what it felt like at the very not at the epilogue part, but the last chapter, the last page of the last chapter. We're literally
I was talking about the epilogue.
Yeah, the epilogue was sad and it was good, very well written. But the whole thing, like the way the ending was building up, it was almost like this like very somber, holy shit, I can't believe this is gonna happen. And then Corax gets hit by a grenade and goes, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah. Stupid as fuck.
It's literally what happens. So we'll backtrack a little bit and we'll start at the beginning because like we were saying, this is not really a collection of short stories. It is short stories, but they all tie together. They're all important. It's really a book. It's a novel, and I gotta give it to Gav Thorpe. Like he did such a good job with, like I was saying, like the saga of the Raven Guard, all the way from Deliverance Lost to the end of Corax. That's all we're gonna get. I don't think the Raven Guard are going to be playing a key part in the Siege of Terra or any part really, based off of what I'm reading from this.
Yeah, I mean, there's like 100 Marines left at this point.
Yeah, so I think he just did a really good job to say, hey, like here's a story. I think he got really, really close to writing like one of the best stories, and then he just stopped, in my opinion. But it would have been like really fun. I was reading it on the couch, and I was like, Kate, this book is fucking crazy. Like, I'm on the edge of my seat reading the last chapter.
Yeah.
And
I was up late last night reading it, the finish.
Yeah. I feel like there wasn't as good a payoff as I wanted to, but that's fair. We'll get to that. So we start off with the siege on Mechanica World.
Yeah, Forge World. I can't remember the name of it.
Chondax? Something like that?
Yeah, that sounds vaguely familiar. But
so
this is where
story...
I started immediately disliking Agapito, because you open... Actually, one of my favorite scenes happens in this story at the beginning. It opens up with Agapito fighting some word bearers. And one of them like challenges him to a duel.
Oh,
yes.
Yes.
He says, fuck that, and just shoots him and kills him. I'm just like, oh shit, that's what I want to see more of. Fuck your honor, just kill them.
Yeah, that is really good. There are some really great lines and really great moments like that. The Raven Guard are definitely the chapter of Space Marines that make the most military sense.
Yes.
Like,
it's kind of refreshing.
Yeah, like whenever you think of engagements and the way people think about warfare, like the Raven Guard, they're just better than everyone else technically, like on paper. It's the way that our current military establishment would run operations, or at least more aligned to it than any other sort of legion that's there. And you get moments where like they're going up against like the Night Lords, and the Raven Guard say, "I hate the Night Lords."
Oh, dude, that was cracking me up. Like some like weird shit's going on. He's like, "Man, the fucking Night Lords! God damn it!"
The only part about the whole relation to the legions I didn't like was they go, "Man, at least the word bearers will fight you." I'm like, they really don't though. They just kill themselves. Like, if you fight a word bearer, you have a 50-50 shot of getting out of there without even having to do anything, and they'll die.
Now, world eaters, they'll fucking fight you.
They'll fight you. There's nothing else about
they're gonna
it.
do. They're not gonna shoot you. They're going to fight you with their fucking fists.
Now, another thing that I dislike about the way the legions were represented in this novel was we did get some Thousand Sons in the end as well. And that's obviously news to us because we have not actually seen Thousand Sons fighting on the side of Horus. So we're assuming that this is probably happening around the same time and maybe even a little bit after Crimson King. Is that what it is? The Crimson King?
Yeah, I would assume so. That has to be where we get Magnus's decision.
Yeah, I would think so too. And we also kind of get the conclusion of Wolfsbane here, which is
Crimson
weird.
King.
That's what I said.
So you said, man, my brain is off. I thought you said Fury of Magnus.
No, the Crimson King. That's what I said.
Are we sure?
I'm pretty positive.
Give me the replay.
We'll just have to re-listen, right? So, yeah. So we also get the conclusion of Wolfsbane. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that would make sense.
It's weird. It's a weird read. Like, we obviously know that Wolfsbane fails. Lehman Russ doesn't kill Horus in space before the Siege of Terra. Who would have thought?
Yeah, very surprising. I know.
So, yeah, I think this book is happening at a bit of a weird spot. We're getting all these books occurring all at once. I feel like we're really wrapping up a lot of the final questions where everyone is. We only have like 8 more stories to be told, right?
Yeah, like we were introduced to basically like the war right before the siege.
Yeah. This is what's going on.
Yeah, which I was not expecting to get because everything's been so fucking slow.
Yeah. And all of a sudden it's like, we're there. So you have the questions, which is, where's Corax? That's being answered in this book. This is it. No more Corax. Well, he lives, but no more Corax going forward. You have the questions of, where's Magnus? We're going to get that answer in the Crimson King. you have the question of what is the Emperor doing? That's happening in the
Next book.
ruler. Yeah, the next book.
Master of Mankind.
Master of Mankind, not Rule of Mankind. You have how is Lehman Russ's mission going? You're going to get that in Wolfsbane. Where the fuck are the Iron Warriors? Last I saw, they flew into a giant black hole. Tallarn. How are all of the people in Imperium Secundus going to make it back to the Imperium? Ruinstorm. What's going on with Vulcan? Don't worry, we have 2 books.
I'm pretty sure one's an anthology.
Yeah, one of them is an anthology, and the only other one I can think of right now, at the top of my head, is Squirtarian ever going to find Typhus?
Probably a buried dagger.
Probably a buried dagger. So we're like wrapping up all of our stories. So other than Vulcan, literally, there's not another like repeat. We don't have multiple Primarchs, multiple legions. You might see some differences or some duplicates and stuff like Heralds of the Siege and Slaves to Darkness, but those are all just like finalizing stories of like defenders, attackers, getting all that set up. So we're really rounding the stretch here. We only got,
and we had the best book coming up, Shattered Legions.
shit. I mean, who could forget the question that everyone is wondering is what are the Iron Hands doing this whole time?
Dorn just keeps sending them away.
They just keep ricocheting back. It's like, get out of here.
Go to like Mars. I don't know. You guys are basically fucking tech priests. Go over there.
If I was in the 40K universe, I might turn traitor just to kill Iron Hands.
I mean, Doran's the loyalist. He's doing it by himself. He's like, no, you're good. Go somewhere else.
I'd be one of the Raven Guard at Isfan. Like, did he just kill Ferrus Manus? Fuck, yeah. I love that. Let's do that. I'm going to join that side.
But we have been very off track. Back to Corax, how we open up. We have this battle with the Word Bears, and then we get told that they are going to a Forge World. And guess what? They go to a Forge World, and they sneak on there, and Corax busts up a fucking, like, secret meeting between, they're not Magios.
I think they are.
They're just tech priests?
Something like that. I think they're Magos.
They're like leaders, but not like real leaders yet. Like they're like the tier underneath. Either way, he like breaks into this meeting.
They're Magos.
Okay. He kills one of them because he was like straight up like, "Yo, we'll be on Horus's side." So he kills.
He doesn't kill him.
Oh, he doesn't? I thought he did.
He keeps him alive.
Oh, did he just have his fucking like foot on his like throat?
Yeah, he like beat the shit out of him and then was like, let's fuck this dude's brain up, try and figure out what's going on.
Space Wolves over there. I'll just eat it.
just eat the brain. Oh, we're not going to do that.
But he talks to these Magos and he's like, look, this is what we're going to do. We will take down this guy who wants to be on Horus's side. One of you will become in charge, and you're going to be an ally.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, okay, Lord Corax, whatever you say.
Whatever
So that's
you
exactly what they do. They go in, kill the fucking guy,
beat the shit out of everyone.
In charge.
Yeah, so you kind of get 3 main like themes that are occurring throughout this entire novel. And more specifically in this part. So the first one is the fact that the Raven Guard are decimated.
Yes, they have 3,000 Astartes.
Yeah, at the beginning of this book.
Yes.
Less at the end. So they are constantly having to pick their battles, and they don't have the capability anymore to go into a planet like this and say, we're just going to conquer it. So they have to look at, even though they probably could, right? They probably could. They have to look at finding allies. They have to look at striking and fading and going to the like proper places, picking the right targets. And Corax is very good at this. He's the best at it, actually, I would say.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, honestly, they kind of start doing some like almost like Alpha Legion shit, where they use the civilians.
Yep, they use civilians. They are just very good at subterfuge and taking things down from within or doing very pinpointed strikes. And you see that throughout this entire book. There's so many times throughout this book where like they're about to engage in a fight, and Corax is like, "No, fuck it, like we can't do it.
Yeah,
We can't do that fight." And there's so many like Agapito, and this is the second theme, is there's this whole group of people that are just like, we want to kill fucking traitors. Like I'm so obsessed with killing traitors after Isfan. It's like they have like shell shock. They've got PTSD.
Yeah,
Agapito absolutely has PTSD. He actually like has visions and stuff of Isfan during other fights, and they just want to kill traitors. So those two things are at conflict with each other constantly. Corax is like, we need to withdraw from this fight, but his Space Marines are like, we don't want to. Like, we want to kill people. And the third thing we see that it is highlighted at the end of this book when Corax goes to kill a word bearer is he gets confronted by this demon. And the demon's basically mocking him or chastising him for being a hypocrite. And we have seen this a million times now, right? Any loyalist Primarch goes up against a demon and they're like, but you were made by warp energy. The Emperor's a liar. All that stupid shit, right?
yeah. I mean, you can look at the Emperor like, wow, he's a very strong psyker. Weird. I'm sure he didn't use any of those powers or got powers from somewhere else to create these living god things.
Exactly. And the point, I think the thing about Corax, though, that sets it apart from all these other books, we have the same thing that happens to Sanguinius. We had a fight with a demon in Gilliman. We had a fight with Jakatai Khan and a demon. They all say the same shit. And they say the same shit with Corax. But Corax thinks about it.
He like sulks about it too.
Yes. And he realizes that they are fucking right.
Yeah.
He like makes it his mission to kill all these warp spawn. And so there's like this thing throughout the book where he believes he is righteous. And as the righteousness of his cause declines, he has a harder time wanting to fight. Like he is fueled by his righteousness. So there's that. And then of course the fourth theme that I forgot to mention is the Raptors. And that's always that was an interesting ass theme.
Yeah, so with the Raptors, if you don't remember from Deliverance, they are the ones that were given the tainted gene seed. So they have basically turned into monsters. I mean, it's interesting because we have a comparison in another one of the stories in here with the Space Wolves and how they turn into
the Wolfen. Yeah.
And them sticking out like fucking sore thumbs, and like you have them like, you know, the Raven Guard treat us like Raven Guard, but everyone else thinks we're monsters.
Yeah. And they are monsters.
Yeah,
absolutely. They're crazy, fucked up creatures, but they are like true people. Like they're not. They're not.
I mean, when we read, what was the book?
Deliverance Lost.
Yeah, Deliverance Lost. We had like Navar Hef was a kid that they took through the training, gave him the gene seed. He fucking saved like Corax in Deliverance Lost.
Yeah. Yeah, they are a really unique group in here. And then in the next story, because that's really the end of the Soulforge story. There's not a lot that happens there.
Yeah,
and then
just no Agapito like the entire time was like, I don't want to do my job. I just want to kill some fucking traitors. And I was like, dude, fuck off, shit. He gets like, chastised by Bran about it.
Yeah, and they're brothers as well, and so it's like a twins.
Super bad.
Yeah. Then we move into the next story, which is Shadow Masters, and we get introduced to another group of people, which is the sneaky The sneaky Raven Guard.
Yep.
So these are people who have Corax's ability, quote unquote, ability to turn themselves invisible to like scanners and everything. Like they just can't be seen. They're not psychers per se, right?
I mean, they kind of have to be, right?
That's what I would figure. It's like their psychic power.
Yeah.
But they get to do invisible stuff. Now, what I imagine happened was one day,
invisible stuff.
one day, Corax was like walking around. He's like, "Oh, look what I can do. You guys need to learn how to do this. It's so cool." And then just like tiptoes around real quick. And the Space Marines are like, "He's not fucking doing anything." And they're like, "Oh, just let him have it. Let him have it."
God, guys, this is so cool.
And then years later, Corax is like, "Okay, I need you 5 to turn yourself invisible and infiltrate this highly secure location." And they're like, "Fuck."
Just get on your tippy toes quick.
We did not see this coming. We thought it was a joke at first, but here we are, tippy-toeing around in the middle
Raven
of
guards
giant...
are just like turning away, like, oh yeah, you can't see those guys.
Yeah, they're nowhere to be seen.
Corax like, yes, great. Only I can see them because I can go invisible, so I can see invisible people.
You just have Corax walking around. You can't see me. You can't see me. And you have an Imperial Guardsman like looking at him, but over in the corners a Raven Guard with his bolter like, don't say anything. Don't say anything. Just let him walk by you.
I am the ghost of righteousness. I am Corvus Corax.
It was either this or he sulks around the Imperial Palace.
And trust me, he's a fucking annoying when he sulks.
He's a sulker for sure. So yeah, we have a very short story introducing us to that group of people. And then we move on to another short story.
Is that the Night Lord one?
No, the next one is Raven Lord. So this is the one where they go to the prison.
Oh, okay. I mean, they meet Nathian.
Yeah. Nathian or whatever. So this one is a little bit maybe it's not short. It might actually be longer. Yeah. But not a lot. It was good, but not a lot happened. Essentially, Corvus Corax goes, okay, we've got like 75 Raven Guard left. Let's call in more people so they get Iron Hands. They get more people from the Shattered Legions essentially to join this giant flotilla. But he also gets an Iron Warrior who was not like cool with Port Rabo, which I think is interesting because there's a lot of Iron Warriors that are not cool with Port Rabo.
He's kind of a dick.
I love Port Rabo.
Oh, I love him too, but he is a dick.
Like you would think there'd be like a lot more Emperor's Children that are like, whoa.
No, they're like, whoa, it's about goddamn time, baby.
Jesus Christ, I've been hard in this suit for years. Finally,
I
can
need some
use it.
release.
The Iron Warriors are quitting because they wish they were Emperor's Children. So he also gets a Night Lord, which is super funny. And another person that comes out of the void is a Raven Guard, which they were pretty shocked at, and it actually turns out to be a very high-ranking Raven
was
Guard.
The commander of Corax's bodyguard unit called the Shadow Guard.
Yes, his name is
Agrol or something.
Arindi.
Yeah, that's it. Arindi.
Garith Arindi. Yeah, so in this story made me really enjoy Sukananuo.
Sogahanuo?
Sokahano, yeah. So basically, this Arendi person shows up. He says, "Hey, I was on Isfan for it was like years, right?
Yeah, for 2 years.
Yeah, he was fighting on Isfan for 2 years before he was able to get off. And of course, the Raven Guard are very suspicious about more Raven Guard showing up because of the Alpha Legion, especially from Isfan.
Yeah.
Yeah, Isfan's like, oh, red alert. That's Alpha Legion.
And he has like a
for
scar
sure.
on his neck. He's like, oh shit, that could have been his face might be gone.
That's a that's a facelift right there. So they did some psychic interrogation. Arendi was not cool with the psychic interrogation portion.
Oh.
Yeah, because apparently the psychers like tortured them on Isfan, so he didn't like that very much.
Yeah, they were like showing them like the images of the traitors killing them. Like,
Yeah.
That's pretty fucking whack.
Yeah. And everyone's really excited to see Arendi, and then Sukunu's like, hold the fucking phone. This guy seems a little much. And Sukunu is Terrorborn. He's like the oldest Raven Guard there.
Yeah, he was there before Corvus was found.
Yeah, so I like Sukunu a lot. I think he's a very level-headed commander, especially in this story. He doesn't come around a lot in the last story, which is unfortunate because I did enjoy his character.
Yeah, you can see him like another time, and he's just like, "Well, team, let's do this.
Let's do it. Let's just do. Well, like in the end, like half the people get sentenced to death, and Sukunu's not one of them. And he's like, "Well, let's do what the Primarch told us to do."
He's like, yeah, like at one point, like he looks like Brandon and Agapita's like, have fun.
Yeah, I mean, this kind of seems like your guys' problem.
You guys better kiss because you're gone.
Yep. So they eventually say, okay, we're going to trust Arendi, but Arendi reveals some information about a secret, like, base that the traitors have held that are holding prisoners. Corax is like, all right, let's go take that down. Now, my initial thought, and this is probably your initial thought too, is like, this whole thing's Alpha Legion just shit. Like, this is actually a loyalist base, and they're killing loyalists, and there's traitors locked in there. That's what I thought.
I just assumed it was a trap for Corax, and it was all Alpha Legion fucking with them.
Yeah, so it turned out to be a trap
like,
for Corax, but it was not Alpha Legion.
Psychically interrogated, like all the people there had like some secret that the librarian couldn't reveal, and it's like that's a little weird.
Yeah, there was like this big thing being hidden as a group collectively from Corax and the Raven Guard. So, I thought it was like, because what happened was when they initially arrived, they're just killing humans. Like all the guards are humans.
Yeah.
So like that could be anything. I was very suspicious of that. I was like, they haven't came across any legionaries. They could be just housing traitors, and it was a loyalist camp. I was like expecting them to run into like some Iron Hands or something. Like, what the fuck's what's going on?
Oh shit, guys.
Yeah.
Is weak.
During this raid, though, Corax isolates himself from the rest of the group, and in the meantime, Bran and the Raptors are uncovering like their high security prison, where they find like these like animals, half human, half animal, weird things like under the base. And the Raptors aren't really cool with this because it reminds them of themselves.
Yeah, and Bran's like looking back and forth between the two, like, am I being like racist comparing these guys?
By being racist.
he's like, man, I kind of feel bad about this, but they kind of do look alike.
Bran, check your privilege, sir. So they ended up getting in fights with Blood Angels. Because
there was like a Blood Angel and a Raven Guard. What else?
Yeah, so they were loyalists though, and they were like, hey, this whole thing is a trap for Corax. Like, I wouldn't come in here and do this because they're making these like giant superhumans out of these animals. And yeah, that's what happened. Corax goes, isolates himself, and gets attacked by these like superhumans, who I'm assuming are supposed to be like obliterators.
I mean, do the obliterators have painted gene seed?
I mean,
Because I am just assuming these were from Fabius's sample.
they're called new men, right?
Yeah, they were calling the Newman.
Which is such a literally at one point the commander is like talking for a whole page. He was like, well, we don't really have a name for it, so we're gonna call them the Newmen. I'm like, what great writing. you know the author is like, I don't really fucking know what to call these guys. I'm gonna call them Newmen, and we'll actually just write about how they're called the Newmen. Wow, I'm glad we got that one out of the way. A subtype of Newman, blah 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 blah. Yeah, I wish they would attach these, because it seems like, to me, seems like these Newmen are like predecessors to obliterators, and the stuff that Corax fought on the Mechanicum world is like a predecessor to the Forge Fiend. That's my concept, but
I can see that.
who knows? I may be wrong. Oh, did I lose you?
Yeah. Did you? I'm staring at you. Can you
Oh,
hear me?
sorry. My Skype just freaked out there. I don't know what
that's
happened.
weird.
All went like black. It was like,
I
whoa.
was just staring at you. I'm like, what does he mean? I'm
Yeah.
looking at him. Do I need to do the wink?
So Corax got all fucked up by these new men.
Yeah, like bad. Like he was getting hit by this. I thought it was just like a psyker like staff, but maybe it was.
Psyker gun.
Yeah, but it was just like electrocuting him, as shutting down his whole fucking suit. I was like, man,
And
that suit seems super useful right now against lightning.
yeah, and the hammer hands. Gav Thorpe was just fucking around. It's like, all right, we're gonna call them new men, okay? And they're gonna be really big, and one dude's literally gonna have hammers for hands. Okay, Gav. So, go ahead.
Okay, I was just gonna say, so he fights these guys. He gets the ever living shit kicked out of him. Like he's about to die. But before that, it's revealed that Nathian is the guy in charge, who was one of the original men who fought with Corvus to take over Deliverance.
Yeah, say Deliverance.
But he was also
something
like a
that.
scumbag that everyone was like, "Yo, this dude fucking sucks. We should kill him." And he's like, "Nah, he's great." And then Corvus is like, "Man, I should have fucking killed that piece of shit. I knew this was gonna happen. God damn it."
It's definitely, it's like word for word almost. It's like he was like, wait a minute, a Raven Guard is the bad guy? He was like, yeah, I'm Nathian. Fuck you. And Corvus Corax literally in his mind was like, oh my god, I remember everybody telling me what a piece of shit this guy was.
God damn it.
I should have fucking killed this guy a long time ago. He's just like annoyed, but also mad that he let it happen. And then he got saved by Arendi. Arendi does show up with his group, and they end up killing the Newman, chasing down Nathan. This whole thing, like, Gav Thorpe must have had so much fun writing this. Nathan delivers some, I don't know, speech about how they're terrible because of the Raptors. I don't know. Seems a little missed to me.
Yeah, I think that was just like saying that like Corvus was a hypocrite because I don't know. But the whole thing was like, you fucking abandoned me on Isvan. And it was fucking Lorgar. Fucking Lorgar of all people.
That was actually a really good call out. Nathan was like, you ran like a fucking pussy from the Night Hunter. And Corvus is like, yeah.
Dude, have you seen the Night Lord? That motherfucker fucks up everyone.
The dude's fucking crazy. Yeah, he had the shit beat out of Lorgar. He was about to kill Lorgar. Literally another second with Corax, Lorgar would have been dead. But he saw the Night Hunter, was like, I'm out of here. And Nathan
you know what,
apparently
I'll
was
blame him.
pissed. Yeah, Nathan was pissed. And multiple times throughout this book, Corax kind of gets questioned about leaving Isfan. He's like, I would have done it again. Like, I'll do it all over again.
Yeah, he's like, I don't fucking regret that shit. That sucked.
Yeah, that was miserable. I got out of there as soon as I could. But you left us and you didn't come back. It's like, damn right, I didn't fucking come back. I would
still
never
won't
go back
back.
there. Exactly. So that's a good like moment where he kind of
Yeah,
gets
because
called out.
Arvindi at one point is like, if you would have came back for us eventually, right? And he's like, no. What the fuck would I do going over there?
He was like, I want to let you know. Corvus actually says, he goes, I want to let you know that it was my decision to not go back. And I would do it over again. And Arindi's like, oh, you piece of shit. And
he's like,
Corvus
man,
is
Corvus,
like,
you're a dick.
It's like, yeah, but am I? The Night Hunter was there.
That motherfucker's scary. Ask
It's
Thor.
so
He's scared
scary.
shitless.
Yeah. So Nathan, at the end of his speech, kills himself in front of Corax, which I think has less of an impact on Space Marines. Like on humans, like that's a very psychological damaging thing. And of course, we know that Space Marines can be psychologically damaged. They can have PTSD. I don't think this is something that does it to them.
Yeah. If anything, I feel like Corax probably was like, ugh, saved me a fucking bullet.
Exactly.
We don't have enough of those.
He's just like, whew.
I had 2 left.
My bolster was empty. I was gonna have to punch him.
I got these claws, baby.
Don't have enough of those. That is called bullet efficiency, everyone. Take notes. Don't kill your
negative
enemy.
bullets, and he's dead.
Do not kill your enemy. Make them kill themselves.
Where's those ward bearers at? This will be easy.
You just need to abandon them on battlefields and make them think that they can give a long speech and you get to save bullets. And then the funniest part of this entire story to me is like right before he commits suicide, he activates the self-destruct sequence. Every fucking Citadel needs a self-destruct sequence. I don't know why there aren't
I
more
hope every single country in the world has just a big self-destruct button. You're like, you know what? Now's the time.
Yeah. I don't know why it doesn't come out more often in 40K. Because like you would think every single ship is just like rigged to blow from the click of a button.
Yeah.
It would have killed.
Can you imagine actually in the wrong button, like, Commander, you know that button that you said you should never press? Well, you know, I pressed it.
That's why you don't put Iron Hands in charge. So he goes to do the self-destruct button. Of course, Bond movie, classic, right?
It has to have the countdown for like 3 hours.
Yeah, and Corax is like, no need to evacuate. Goes in, just clicks a little bit of thing, the self-destruct sequence shuts down. They're like, you knew the code? He's like, no, but I guessed it was his old cell number.
He's like, this dude's not fucking creative. This was my first guess.
This is so stupid. Like, he's a space marine, you know? Technically, by human standards, he's supposed to be a genius.
You would think.
But he just uses some old password. Corax is like, the only number I know.
Or it's his birthday. Or it's 1, 2, 3, 4.
Those are the 3 options. Let me try those real quick. He gets it. Yeah, that was a very funny ending to the story. We do have a little bit of a discussion between Corax and Arendi because Corax is like, you must be Alpha Legion because blah, 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 blah. putting like pieces together. But then Arendi reveals that the secret that he was hiding was the fact that they actually let salamanders and iron hands die in order for them to escape his spawn.
And honestly, Corax is probably like, dude.
No shit.
Bro, you should have got out quicker than that. Come on.
So the salamanders were born to die, and the
It's
iron
literally their
hands
hobby.
were born to be killed. Like, we are the most important legion on Isfan. I'm so glad you got out there.
Yeah, both of those
Like, kind
legions
of
were born to be fodder.
thinking about it, though, it's really annoying that Arendi gave Corax shit for abandoning them, because Arendi did murder people in order to get off Isfan. So it's like, well, can you blame him? You know?
Yeah.
So the next book we have is really, it's like a 40-page short story, but it's honestly one of my favorites.
Wait, what was the next one?
The next one is, oh, no. This is not the one I'm thinking of. Next one is The Value of Fear. This is with the Night Lords.
Oh,
this one is funny.
I
This one's good, though.
thought it was hilarious.
This is very funny. Real quick synopsis. The whole point of that prison sieging mission 2 is to kind of teach all of these other legions that came with Corax how to fight the Raven Guard way. And this short story is all about them on another planet, and there's this Raven Guard tied to a Night Lord, the Night Lord that came. And I love that he's brought up multiple times, because that's a cool thing. I like that they do that. He's like, I'm going to write a loyalist Night Lord, and I'm going to bring them up multiple times because that's interesting. So he's paired with this loyalist Night Lord, and the Night Lord is also trying to teach him how to be a Night Lord, and it's hilarious.
Yeah, they're like going through. They're chasing an Alpha Legionnaire. He's like, "Look, man, they don't gotta sneak around. Like, they're gonna be scared. You just fucking just do the thing." And he's like, "You gotta be sneaky. You gotta be where the enemy doesn't want you to be." And it's like,
You gotta sneak.
it's like, man, I ain't walking around on my goddamn tippy toes. I'm gonna chase this bitch down. I'm gonna rip him apart in front of his family, and then I'm gonna eat his family. They're like, oh shit, that ain't how we do things.
And the Raven, there was at one point, oh man, what was it that they said where the Raven Guard was like, wait, like, you don't do this? I can't. He said something. The Night Lord said something about like torturing at some point. Where like in compliance, like you don't just like torture random people. It's like, no, like you have to like let the good people go. But if somebody does anything wrong whatsoever,
You just fuck them to death.
Yeah. So the whole Night Lord thing was like, you have two people. The Raven Guard was about to kill them both. And then it was like, what are you doing? Kills one of them, lets the other one run. And this guy's like, but why did you do that? He's like, they're going to alert the Alpha Legion to our presence. And he's like, exactly. We get to find out where the Alpha Legion are.
Yeah,
which
none
is
of this tiptoeing bullshit.
a really good point. So the Night Lord and the Raven Guard have a little bit of debate about how fucked up the Night Lords are. And they get led to the Alpha Legion.
Yeah, and then the Alpha Legion starts shooting them. And then the Alpha Legion just disappeared, and they're like, what the fuck? And then like Corvus comes in, he's like, good job, team, and just disappears.
Appears, good job, team. Disappears, and the Night Lord goes, well, that was really scary.
Like, dude, that's some fucked up shit right there.
He was like, holy, that was the scariest thing I've ever seen.
And I've seen the fucking Night Haunter.
Yeah, it was a really like very humorous. Gav Thorpe writes humor very well. I feel like he almost writes it sarcastically, right?
Yes.
Like, oh, okay, what are we going to call these guys? The new men. Oh, we're going to put a self-destruct sequence in. Oh, it's going to be his old password. Oh, we're going to
stupid ass name. Sugahanu. That's a stupid name. Here we go.
Oh, the Night Lords are going to try and teach the Raven Guard. Oh, turns out Corax is the scariest thing there. Just a lot of like really silly stuff. Okay. Then we get to the short story Raptors. So The last two stories, I think the shit just picks up pace like crazy. It gets
This is
really
where it
good.
really feels like a novel.
Yeah, really interesting. So the Raptors, the deformed group of Marines, they go and try to. They stumble across a Space Wolf ship, and they find that it's sent from this one planet, and they go and find that there is a Space Wolf stronghold being besieged. It's not a Space Wolf stronghold, but it's a stronghold being besieged by the Sons of Horus, and they go in to aid the Space Wolves.
Yeah, and they, I fucking love the Space Wolves. First off,
I
They
can't
get
stand the Space Wolves.
and
Fuck the Space Wolves.
I just thought this was so fucking funny. So they get there, they
I
contact the
know what you
Space
mean.
Wolves, and the Space Wolves like, "Oh yeah, you're Raven Guard? Holy shit, we were looking for you guys."
That's
Awesome."
not even the
Oh,
best
no.
part. The
I'm
best
getting
part.
there. The
Well,
best
the
part
best part is before.
I know. What was before?
When they contact them and say, "Hey, we're some allies. We're trying to help you," and the first thing the Space Wolf says, "Go away. We don't need you."
Oh yeah.
They're like, "What are you talking about? We just killed a bunch of Sons of Horus. We're here to help." But they're like, "Get out of here. We got them exactly where we want them." And the Raven Guard's like, "There's like 500 of them out here. There's what do you mean?"
Yes, and then he's like, "We're the Raven Guard." He's like, "Oh, holy shit! I was looking for you guys. Come on in." And as they're talking, the Sons of Horus's tanks turn and start going to them. They're like, is this an encrypted channel?" He's like, "Why would it be? They know where we are. Why would we encrypt anything? Like we're in the door."
The Raven Guard are like, "We are hidden still. They don't know where we are." And the person's like, "Oh yeah, all right, we'll be out in a second."
Well, hurry up. The door's unlocked. Let yourselves
Yes.
in.
Have a little bit of a fight outside, and they get inside, and you get a moment where the Space Wolves notice how fucked up
Yeah.
the Raptors are, and the Raptors also get revealed that a couple of Space Wolves are turning into the Wolfen, and it's
Yeah,
a
so-
really Space Wolf interaction.
Yeah, well, really, like Navar Hef takes off his helmet without thinking. This motherfucker is like tusk and shit, and they're like, they all point their guns and like, whoa, we're still Raven Guard, bro. And then one of the Space Wolves takes off his helmet. He's like turned into like a fucking wolf. And he's like, dude, for the fucking sand, this is sick. I actually posted because I had the Kindle version, so I had a picture and it showed what the Wolfen looked like, and I thought it was.
Well, here's the problem that I have with the interaction is, yes, you have the one Space Wolf that takes off his helmet. That's like, whoa, that's fucking sick. We're the same. And then the leader is like, shut the fuck up. Don't talk to them. Yeah,
He looks very wolf-like, like way more than I ever expected them to look like.
yeah, they look creepy.
Yeah.
But the Space Wolves always have this problem that they are like insane hypocrites. So they are the commander. He is not Wolfen. Is not okay with the Raven Guard being weird and ugly looking. But he's okay with the Space Wolves being weird and ugly looking. Just like the Space Wolves are okay with having rune priests, but they're not okay with the Thousand Sons having psychers.
Yeah, man. Because they don't use the same powers.
Yeah, it's completely different. Ours come from Fenris. Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah, it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we
So
have this whole interaction going on, and Navar Hef is talking to them. They finally like settle their thing. He's like, "So why were you looking for us?" And the leader revealed that they were sent to be watchdogs.
for Corax, yeah.
Yes. And they were Navar Hef kind of like doesn't take this very well. And they are like, okay, well, whatever.
As every Primarch has ever since, right? Like,
yes.
no Primarch has been delivered the watch pack that was assigned to them. Like, oh, great, yeah, come on in.
Yeah, it's funny too because at one point it's asked like, well, who else got them? They're like, fucking everyone. They're like, oh, whatever.
Still, fucking Lehman Russ. Oh,
I mean,
God.
there were literally traitors. I don't know if anyone else did notice this, but they did get surprised at this Fan 5 by traitors. So maybe it was probably a good idea.
Okay, counterpoint. Name
They only
one
sent 5.
impactful. What?
So they only sent 5 Space Wolves.
Yeah, name one impactful thing a watch pack has done other than die on a Cygnus Prime.
Hey, man, the ones with Gilliman are still there. They're chilling.
There's-
They're part of the
they haven't
Sanguinary
done
Guard now.
anything.
Yeah, they're protecting Sanguinius. He's still alive, isn't he?
Yeah, probably because of the 700 other guards that
No, dude.
Sanguinius
They
has.
could have killed Sanguinius at any time, but they're like, nah, this dude's fine for now.
Yeah, you're right.
Emperor
The
number
watch
2.
pack has done phenomenal protecting Sanguinius. Like that one time the Night Hunter captured Ezekiel and cut off his arm and almost killed Sanguinius.
Hey, they were busy with Gilliman.
Sure.
They're there to watch
nothing.
Gilliman. Sanguinius' guard pack got killed
Yeah.
by the Blood Angels.
Oh, yeah. I'm still waiting to see where the guard pack is that landed with the lion. I'm assuming they're dead.
They were like, wait, we gotta go to the line or I'm not going.
Fuck that. Yeah, so they devise a plan to help the Space Wolves escape the fortress using orbital bombardment. And all seems to be going really well. But then Hef has like an epiphany that basically what's going to happen is the Space Wolves are going to go back to Lehman Russ, tell them that Corax has fucked up the Legionnaires and that they should be put down. And then Lehman Russ would go and try and kill Corax, which is absolutely fucking true.
See, I don't know. Because I think like Corax has like something like you could say, right? Like he could easily be like, look, I got the gene seed from Dad. And it got fucked up. I fucked it up. Something fucked it up.
I'm not like continuing to do it, but I'm not going
Yes.
to kill these guys.
Yeah, because he's like, look, I got 3 guys, and half of them are Raptors.
1.5 people are Raptors.
He's turning slowly.
Yeah. So, yes, I think that's partially true. Lehman Russ has a reputation, and Corax even later is like, yeah, absolutely, Lehman Russ would fucking do that. Because
I mean, they were also sent though by Malkador, right? So like, if Lehman doesn't want to listen, Malkador would probably be like, we need bodies.
Yeah, so you're saying like Malkador would be like, yeah, we need to.
Yeah, that was where Skype stopped for both of us, I think.
Yeah, he froze there for a second. But you were saying Malkador would basically be like, hey, we need Legionnaires, so don't just go kill this Legion because one of them looks funky. Yeah. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I don't think it was analyzed super well. At the end of the day, I don't think Lehman Russ would be killing Corax and his Legion.
Yeah, because I mean, at this point, they know that they're loyalists at this point. Because he's gone to Terra and left Terra. So they're like, okay, we know we can count on the Raven Guard to do something stupid somewhere else that's not here.
Right. And at this point, too, like everything's fine up until Hef decides to take matters in his own hands and kills the Space Wolf Watch Pack. Wow.
Yep.
Did not see that coming.
I didn't either. And then he made everyone swear to secrecy that did not happen.
Yes. So that leads us directly into the last book, Weregild. And man, oh man. So the thing about Weregild, it's an incredible story where nothing happens for the first 75% of it.
Yeah, I'm going to open up my doors so my cat can get in here and not get killed by the door.
Yeah, I'll kind of run through the beginning part. Essentially, Corax attempts to summon his entire Legion strength into one system. But they get caught by the Night Lords. So they have to scatter again. While in transit, they get notifications from some Iron Hands saying that, hey, there is a basically pre-Terra battle going on in this system that they're going to use as a launch point into Terra, into the Sol system. And we want you to go there. And it turns out this system's in a chaotic fucking mess of war. Like, there's tons of shit going on. And Corax is like, that's not where my Legion strength needs to be. We need to be somewhere near that system. So they leave, go somewhere near the system, and then they run into Space Wolves, who say that Lehman Russ is in a system next to the system at war. So they're like in this little clustered area, and he's under attack by all kinds of legions. Who would have thought that people hate the Space Wolves?
Oh man, you didn't talk about the Iron Hands that they ran into.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, okay. And the Dreadnought?
Yeah, the Iron Hand leader was a Dreadnought. It was kind of a funny meeting because the Dreadnought was like, go to war. And Corax was like, nah. And the Iron Hand was like, I do not compute. We must go to war. Yeah. So they run into the Space Wolves. The Space Wolves reveal about Lehman Russ. And Chorus is like, I'll think about it. So he's got a couple different options. And in the meantime, the Thorian fleet shows up. So a little bit of backstory. The Thorian fleet is led by Marcus Valeatus?
Something like that.
Yeah. He's very important because he's the character that was having dreams and visions that led to Bran rescuing Corax on Isfan. But Bran and Marcus never told Corax about that because they were concerned that there was some witch stuff involved and they didn't want Corax to worry about it.
Mostly Bran, though. Bran was like, well, it's all when the time's right.
Exactly. And so the Therians arrive. They have a bunch of new Space Marines. And all at once, all the bad news gets delivered to Corax. First, we have Hef revealing that to Corax that he killed the Space Wolves. Because the Space Wolves did ask what happened to that watch pack, just seeing if they had ever made it to Corax. And then they left, and Hef was like, oh, fuck, I'd have to tell Corax now.
Yeah. And then Brand's just like, what the fuck? Why did you do that?
And then Marcus has a vision about the Space Wolves dying on that planet. So he comes in, bursts in, and tells Corax all about his visions and about the fact that that's what saved him on Isfan. And Bran is there too. And again, Bran is like, oh, what the fuck? So Corax had just got hit by a couple huge bombs, and he goes into like this secret depression mode. Yeah. Until he delivers his verdict, which is fucking nuts.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of ruthless. So what happens is he sends Marcus and his Imperial Guard,
like thousands.
To the place he doesn't want to go, and that's that one jump area. He's like, yeah, well, good luck. We're all gonna die.
Where Horus is like at war, like the system is like the staging ground for Terra. He goes, hey, I want you to send all of your guardsmen there with you.
But you're not taking your warships.
Only transports.
You're leaving your warships with me.
Marcus is like, oh, okay, so I'm gonna die along with everybody. What a huge waste of resources.
Yes. And then, he's not done. He looks at the librarian. He's like, and the librarian, that's done. We're done with using that shit. Counts on IKEA happened. Guess what? We're going back to it. And you're going back to Terra.
I'm sending you back to Terra to answer for your fucking crimes that I told you to commit.
Yes, exactly. And he looks at the Imperial Fist. He's like, you're going back to Terra. Looks at the Custodes. You're going back to Terra. All the other ones who aren't Raven Guard, you're also going back to Terra.
All the other legions. You got the Iron Hands, the Iron Warrior, the fucking Night Lord. You're going back to fucking Terra. And everyone in this room is like, holy shit. Like, so, okay.
The Raptors, they're going down to Yard to die.
Well, he didn't say that explicitly. What he said was, okay, the rest of us are going to Yard, and due to a munitions issue,
we're taking your guns.
we're going to equip Raptors specifically with melee weapons. And Bran is like, wait, you're taking away our guns? He's like, it's a munitions issue. Also, I expect you to lead by example at the front. Wink, wink.
Bran's like looking around like, fuck.
He's like, I sentence you and the Raptors to die. They end up getting there. The whole time, it's like, that's when we have.
Wait, before this happens, we have them leaving the room, and Kanahanu, whatever the hell his name is.
Sokahanu, yeah.
Sokahanu's like, well, see ya, dudes.
It is what it is, boys. It is what it is. Yeah, at this point in time, Sokahanu, Agapito, and Agani, what's his name? I have it. Hold up. Arendi. Sokahanu, Agapito, and Arendi are all like, fuck, like, I guess we're it then. Like,
yeah, and you have Brandon and Agapito have like this little thing where they're like, well, we had a good life, pal. Twins.
This is it, brother. It was
like,
a really sad moment.
Yeah, because I guess like it went back to like Deliverance, like before, like they went to their final battle of Deliverance, like they did this hug type of deal. There was like, we may never see each other again, like this is it. So they recreated that moment, and then Bran talks to Marcus or whatever his name was, Marcus. He leaves.
Like, really sad moment. Yeah, and you kind of get this like they get to the planet. Corax finds Lehman Russ just fucked up. Lehman Russ.
This is actually the very beginning of the book.
Yeah, it kind of wraps back around.
Yeah.
And this is probably what we're assuming is the end of Wolfsbane. But he's being surrounded by all sides, and fucking Bjorn is a badass.
Yeah, he is.
Bjorn is now like a fucking monster truck of a legionary, walking around with the spear of the Emperor, murdering like tons of people but a single blow. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, there's a cool moment where like Corvus is talking to Liam, and he's like, "Quit being a pussy. We're here to fight." And he like gets the spear, and then he passes out. Or like Bjorn's like, "You hate the spear," and he's like, "You know why I hate the spear? It wasn't like a dream that he was gonna die with it or something."
Yeah.
And then he fucking passed out, and Bjorn's like, "Well, I'm gonna use
it." No, fuck, I'm gonna use a spear.
Yeah. This thing's cool
so
shit.
There was an amazing moment, right? You have these crazy heartfelt moments where you have like the Raptors in the launch bays, just like depressed that they're being sentenced to death. And you have Bran out on the battlefield while Agapito and everyone's gone. Corax looks at his next Arendai and is like, hey, I'm going to stay here. He's like, I've lost all of my hope in the mission. I've lost everything. Like, I'm going to die. I'm going to die with the Space Wolves. And so is Bran and the Raptors. And you're going to go and you're going to be the leader of the Legion. Just a super bitter, sour, sad moment. Like, really, he did an amazing job of showing, like, all of these other Primarchs that had these discussions with these demons or whoever saying, oh, you're wrong. This is what it is. Corax is actually thinking about it and seeing the decisions that are being made by his legionnaires and thinking, maybe I'm pretty fucked up. Maybe this is not a fight that I need to be having anymore. Maybe I don't need to be here. Maybe I should have died on this fan. And it's really good.
It was really good. And
it was really good.
You have like this final fight, and like the whole time it keeps like flashing back to the Raptors in the bay, and they're like, you get Hef's point of view, and he's just like, I'm scared to die. Like, I know we're being sent to die, and I'm scared. Like, I don't want to just die for nothing.
But as it goes on and on, he accepts it.
Yeah, and the reason they're gonna die is because they look different than the rest of the Raven Guard.
Yeah.
Because what they called the Smooths which is the ones that hated. None of them were in the chamber with them. Just the ones that looked fucked up.
And eventually he comes and he accepts it. And not only that, he welcomes death because he realizes that his life is going to be tortures, and he rather would just die on the battlefield as a Raven Guard than like continue to live as this monster. Like he wants to die in honor as a Raven Guard. He obviously fucked up by killing those Space Wolves. Like he messed up, and he wants to repent for that by dying essentially in glorious combat. Like that's his whole thing. It's like, I want to do this now. He is really sad about it at first, and then you get this mind. It's this awesome transition. Even the battle, right? They go in, they fight. Bran's there fighting, Corax is fighting, and it's just this crazy moment. Fucking Abaddon shows up. Fucking crazy moment. And then it doesn't pay off.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Corvus gets like hit by like 5 missiles. Like he just keeps getting smacked by missiles. Then one of them must have shook his brain enough to where he's like, "Oh shit, this is not actually that fun."
Yeah, he got beat the shit out of him. It's like, fucking hell. Like, I don't want to die. I'm out of here. And then they just rescue everybody, and the Raptors don't get dropped, and Bran survives, and all these people leave, including Bjorn.
Like they get the message, like the Raptors get the message that, or Bran gets the message first that they're not going to release the Raptors. And he's just like, thank you, Lord. And then like the Raptors get it, and Hef literally cries.
He's upset.
Yeah.
Because he wants to die now.
Yeah,
but
you set them up to die.
Yeah, this is what I wish would have happened instead. This is my desire. I think the story would have ended better if Bran had died. And that's what caused Corax to change his mind. Because there's no consequence for Corax's bitterness. It literally seems like he just flipped his decision on a dime. And like, I would have loved to have seen like actual consequence occurring then. We do get some consequence later, but it's kind of mute to the story, right? I think Bran should have died, and I think that would have been like a phenomenal book. Like if Bran would have died, because it built up all this emotional drama between Bran and Marcus and Bran and Agapito and the Raptors.
And I think it would be really kind of cool coming off of just at Return of Dorne, where we had the twin Primarchs die.
Yeah.
And then you go into this, and you have where the twin Legionaries die.
And of all the Legionaries, right? Bran was the one at the beginning of the book that we thought was going to live. He was the most level-headed, you know? And we made predictions that Agapito was going to die. And so to have his twin brother die.
One of them was Alpha Legion anyway.
Well, that was all the way back in Deliverance Lost. Yeah. But we've kind of been through that journey with him, right? Like this is like the story of Zahariel and Nimiel, except like that one ended too soon. And this one just doesn't end because we're not going to get any more of them. Yeah. It would have been better if Bran had died. That would have been a great seal to the book. That's what would have caused Corax to change his mind and to save Leman Russ and all that. But we do get a really good heartfelt thing at the end in the epilogue with Corax.
Yeah, so at the end, we get Corax. He goes into a cell, and there's this
in the Ravenspire.
Yeah.
And this is after the heresy.
Oh, is it?
Yes. If you read the very, very beginning of the book in the prelogue, he's talking about everything that happened at the end of the heresy. He basically discusses the end of the heresy, what happens to the Emperor, all that stuff. And he's like depressed, and he kind of goes into this depression. And then at the end of the book, you know, it talks about how he continues down to the basement of the Ravenspire.
Interesting. I did not put that together.
Yeah, this is way later.
I'm going to have to read those two parts then. But
yeah,
he goes into this cell, and there's this creature there, and find out it's Navar Hef. And he literally just chokes him to death. He strangles him. And it's honestly just sad.
Yeah. So he kind of has this thing where he made the promise to that demon in the first story that he would kill all warp creatures. And Hef survived the heresy. but he had been so fucked up from his mutations. He's like an animal. Corax had chained him away at the bottom of the Raven Spire. And he gets there, and Hef is like happy by his presence. Like he still has that, like, oh, Lord Corax, I love you kind of thing. And he goes to him like a son. And Corax has to kill him to
Honestly,
fulfill that
I
promise.
kind of like picture it like a dog.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Like putting down a dog.
Yeah.
Now, another interesting thing is like this right here is legitimately how Corax's story ends, and basically all of 40K. He goes into like a Great Depression and sits at the bottom of the Raven Spire for like a few thousand years until he just comes out and disappears into the warp.
What a story.
What a guy. Yeah. So like this is literally I don't think we're gonna get any more stories about Corax at all. Like I think this is it. I think it would have been better if Bran had died. But yeah, reread the prologue. It's like a page and a half, maybe not even. But that's the setup to the epilogue, and it's all after the heresy. He talks about what happened to his father, what happened to everything. So it's kind of weird. But yeah, they just this story is that's Corax.
That was good. Importance to the heresy. Probably like a 5. I can't think of it being.
The problem with this book is I don't think it's going to be important to the rest of the heresy at all. The purpose of the story was to wrap up Corax's story, maybe wrap up Leman Russ's, but based off of this, I don't think Leman Russ or Corax are going to be at the siege. So I don't think their stories are going to impact it.
This is where, because I know like the theory is that Leman's supposed to return during like the war time or whatever. And he kind of mentions that at the beginning in the first like story, like something about like, coming back for the Wolfen.
Yeah, so Leman Russ does not disappear for a while. Like he's one of the last Primarchs to just get up and leave, and he actually disappears in the same nature that Corax does eventually, just into the warp. He just goes into the Eye of Terror. Like fuck it.
Later.
So, yeah, I don't know. I don't think that Leman Russ or Corax make it back to Terra. I don't think they have anything to do with the siege based off of the way this book ends. So I don't think this book is important to Heresy at all. I think it's fully skippable.
Yeah, I think if you consider like if you really like Corax, this is
absolutely read this. Must read it. It's a good book.
It's very good. That's why I kind of give it a 5 because I really, I mean that's more for. I enjoyed it way more than 5, but
yeah,
I think if you want to know Corax's story, you should read it.
Yeah,
so I would say it's a 5. Maybe not super important to the heresy itself, but to his like wrap up.
What was your personal enjoyment?
Probably an 8.
I'm between 7 and 8. I really liked it. I just wish it would have ended a little bit differently. Just a little bit.
Which is fair. It started off slow for me, but it really ramped up, and I liked how it all came together. That's why I gave it an 8.
Yeah, the short stories they didn't seem like a detriment. It was like just reading a new chapter in the Legion's story of the heresy.
It was almost just like going through like a tiny time skip.
Yeah, exactly. And some of them weren't even that. Some of them was like right on the spot. So yeah, it was a good one. How much time we got here?
I mean, we're at an hour 18.
Oh, so we're over.
Spend a few minutes if you want to talk about the World Eaters thing.
No, not really. I mean, what were the negative talks about the World Eaters? So you guys don't know, the points values did get leaked for the World Eaters. I don't know if they're real.
Yeah.
I'm being honest.
A lot of people think that they aren't real just because of like some of the names of things and like where others are slotted.
Yeah.
I don't know.
My biggest red flag to the fact that they're not real, and one of the things people are already complaining about, is that you can't use cultists. And I think like that would be like the only army that is Chaos Space Marines that doesn't have access to cultists.
Yeah, another thing that people notice is on that, like the page, it's page 88, which is
Very short.
very short. Also, 8 is the number of corn twice. So
Oh,
it would be really weird that they would have the point values on that.
interesting. Yeah,
And
I have
also,
a
like, I think
feeling.
there's like some things that are like there's no like generic like HQ slot either.
Right. Yeah, the HQ slots seem a little off. Um, as far as because people are upset that there's not a lot of like choices. That's kind of true. I think there's like if you look at it like compared to the Thousand Sons Codex, which is one of the weaker books out there as far as the amount of choices you have, model range has fewer than that. It might be, but at the same time, like that doesn't necessarily mean a lot. Like the Harlequins have the smallest model range.
Yeah.
And they still are very collectible. So I don't know. I'm not super worried about that. I
Yeah.
don't think it's real. I don't think it's real looking at it.
Yeah, the more I looked at it, the less I think it is. Because, like, I don't know, maybe they don't get their own Terminators, which is weird.
I'm sure they will. That's like the one thing they're going to give a unique. What I anticipate is they're going to give a unique like sub troop choice, like the Zangors or the Poxwalkers, right? And they're going to get a unique Marine, like the
They have
Rubric
the.
Marines and the Plague Marines, and then they're going to get a
They
unique
released
Terminator.
the Red Butchers or whatever they are. Or the Berserkers, the Corn Berserkers.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the
Yeah.
troop choice.
Yeah, I'm anticipating that they'll have a couple other things spread in there too. Like the Thousand Sons have like the Zangor Enlightened on the discs, the Zangor Shamans, they have the Mutilith Vortex Beast, a couple different HQ stuff.
I think
So
Angron will only be 360.
that seems incredibly low.
Yeah, it
I
does.
wouldn't be
It's like
shocked.
Abaddon price.
I wouldn't be shocked. I could easily see them like super. Because if I'm being honest with you, that's reasonable for Magnus. Like I still might not take Magnus if Magnus was 360.
I don't.
The biggest problem with those large models is the fact that they can't be obscured, and that
Yeah.
is a huge detriment. And so to kind of break through that barrier of wounds and not being able to be obscured, it should actually the more wounds you have at that point decrease the value of your model once you break that threshold because there's just like if I take Magnus, yeah, I might have some fun in a couple games, but one out of every 3 games, he's just gonna get fucking annihilated.
Well, I don't know, because I mean, the whole point with Angron is you got to get in combat. So, and he has wings, so he has to have fly probably. But
Magnus has fly.
he has a decent movement. Will probably just be constantly in combat.
That's the trick, right? Is like delivering him in combat, and I'm sure he's gonna be like a beast. Like Scarbrand right now is just fucking nasty. So like if he tags you in combat, you're dead. I'm imagining it's gonna be the same with Angron. But
Yeah, Angron
Scarbrand,
has to be the best in melee, right? Like,
but you can deep strike Scarbrand like 6 inches away from somebody.
that'd be fucking nasty to do that with the Angron.
Exactly. So like that's where like you wouldn't take Scarbrand and run him across the board. That would be stupid. He's just gonna die, right? But if you like what you do is you take him and you work locus him in with like Bellacore or something. Um, so 360 for Angron, I think that's totally reasonable. Even if he's at like the same power level as Magnus or Mortarion, like I think that's a good value for Magnus.
Well,
Like,
I imagine it's lower because he's not a psyker.
but that doesn't really matter that much because if you, it's all in comparison of like what it is, right? Like maybe Angron will be harder to kill. Maybe, I mean, Magnus's melee profile is really good, but he can't take down a knight. I bet you Angron can.
Fucking better be able to.
Yeah. So that's kind of where it's at. And like Magnus is an amazing psyker until it doesn't matter, you know. or until it does matter. Yeah. Those are my thoughts. I don't think they're real, but if they are, I don't think it's terrible what we've seen so far. So, yeah.
Yeah, so that is it for our review of Corax, a little bit of talk about World Eaters. Next week, we will be previewing Master of Mankind. Very excited for it. It's going to be very good. It's from ADB. I've heard very good things about it, so very excited. As
Already
always, hit us
started.
up on. I was going to start tonight, but we started here late, so tomorrow. But
Fair enough.
as always, hit us up on Discord. You can find that pinned to our Twitter at Heresy Lodge. You can also email us at theheresylodge@gmail.com. You can tweet at us as well. We are on YouTube. Go over there, check us out, leave a like, subscribe, a comment. We have merch. I will leave that information in the show notes. And you guys have a good one.